'Tis the season to be jolly. La 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 la. And welcome back to Otaku Tea. I am here with Kitty Gaming. How are you, Chris?
I'm good. Can't wait for the holiday season to really kick up next week.
Oh my gosh, I am ready to take the break. A break that I've been needing for the longest time. How long does your job allow you to have a break? Is it even that long?
So what we have is 5 sick days and then 10 vacation days.
But for the holidays, what do they give you?
What do you mean? There's no extra thing for holidays?
Oh, that sucks. Well, I hope everyone at home actually has some type of vacation. If not, if you're working the next day, then I apologize in advance. Everybody should have a break from this crazy year that we're having, and 2020 is coming to a close. Yes, and we are ready to start fresh, something new. Hopefully, things end up ending okay, and most of the things we can kind of keep in 2020, and remembering those who have passed away and suffered and died and or lost jobs um during this really crazy pandemic here in America.
Yeah, obviously it hasn't been a great year for most people and we can only hope for a better year next year. So let's just keep our hopes up and try to push through everything.
Yeah, and I'm really excited that now the United States has a new president. I'm not trying to bring in politicalness in this podcast. Maybe we will later. But I'm glad that we're going to start new in January. Joe Biden comes into office and hopefully can manage. He can manage this pandemic a lot better than our previous president, who is still our president. I'm just saying.
Yeah, so thankfully the vaccine is starting to be distributed and people are getting vaccinated. So obviously, like the high risk groups are going to get it first, like the elderly and the healthcare workers. So hopefully everything goes out with a hitch for those guys and we can slowly get everyone vaccinated and we'll finally go back to a new normal next year.
Yes, and I'm glad that you said new normal, because a lot of people say that we're never going to be able to go back to normal. Not only because of the pandemic that we've been having in 2020, which actually started in 2019, which is why it's COVID-19. Um, we are going through a lot of changes, especially here in America. That there was like a bunch of ice um situations, like all these horrific things are going under care. A lot of the Black Lives Matter protests are still going on, and trying to keep everybody as voices heard as much as possible. And there's just a lot of tension here. I mean, we're now in this state where racism and ignorance was looked down upon here in America, and now it seems as normal, and we want to try to make it seem like or stand that racism and bigotry and all of this stuff is still a bad thing. It shouldn't be normal here, especially if this country is so-called the land of the free, for equal for all. Everyone's welcome, the land of immigrants. So we're kind of in like this weird point right now, and everything's just awkward, and everyone just wants a fresh start, and everyone's trying to fix things that was brought up to light in 2020, then things that have been broken for so many years. We're just, I don't know, we're just trying to make things better and find solutions for all of these problems. But enough of this sad stuff, okay? We do have an announcement. This will be our last podcast for the year. So sad, right?
I
Um,
thought
so
you said it was the end of the sad stuff.
I know. I kind of lied, but I kind of didn't. All right. So thank you guys for those who have been supporting us on the podcast. I know this is like our third episode. We're already leaving so soon and getting a break, but with all the holidays coming up and family and all this stuff, and we all need a break. Chris needs a break. I need a break, and not just because that we just started and the podcast is overwhelming, it's just because like life is overwhelming. So, uh, you know, everybody just needs a break from work, from just thinking of responsibilities for a time being. So we will see you guys back in either January 2nd or January 3rd of 2021.
Yay! Happy New Year!
Happy New Year when the time comes. So Christmas and Santa, reindeers, and all of this stuff, Jesus Christ, Mary, and Joseph, and all of this stuff. Ah, how are you going to celebrate the holidays, especially Christmas? New Year's, everyone celebrates it more or less the same way, but how are you going to celebrate Christmas?
So, I guess it's just the same way I've always been doing it. I will be going back to my parents' house for Christmas, but it's just going to be our immediate family, and we have a big table, so we're going to be moderately socially distant for most of the dinner. I don't know if you guys know, but in Poland, Christmas Eve is a lot more important than Christmas Day, and uh,
Ooh.
but we don't go to church here because of different just differences in the United States. So I guess we just focus on the family and well wishes and being together. And my mom usually makes like semi traditional Polish Christmas dinner food, and we just eat that, and then have leftovers on Christmas Day. And Santa obviously visits us in the night, so we get our stockings.
Well, that's I like that you said that about that Christmas Eve is more important than Christmas Day. For Hispanic families as well, like for us, we tend to do the parties and the cha-cha-chas and all the Merry Christmas everyone, yay, on Christmas Eve instead of Christmas Day. Christmas Day for us is more of like a chill day. You go to sleep at like 4, 5, 6 a.m., which is what our family does. We're Mexican, and then we open presents after 12, usually maybe around 1 or 2 o'clock, because my parents like to prolong that celebration of opening gifts. They're like, no, 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 no. You can wait. You can wait for that. And we end up opening presents at like 1 or 2 a.m. and then watch another movie. And just like once we're like all dead inside and tired, we just go to sleep. And Christmas Day ends up being a time of just waking up at like 1 or 2 p.m. and just hanging around and just doing nothing, eating again leftovers and just, just chilling.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think only here in America, if I'm not mistaken, or some other countries too, that like Christmas Day is the actual main day. Like in the movies, it's like the kids wake up and then they run downstairs and then they go to the Christmas tree and find their presents and then they just open them and yay, Christmas Day, right?
Right.
It just seems so basic to me. I mean, I don't know. No disrespect for those who actually do celebrate on Christmas Day, but like you see it all in these movies, and then you realize you can't relate because you're just up all night.
Right. And in the movies, Arnold Schwarzenegger has
Oh no!
to go around and trying to find the what do you call it, Turbo Man doll on Christmas Eve,
I love that movie. My dad loves that movie.
and then I think they have like a parade on Christmas Day, which is where like all the conclusion happens. So
Yeah,
like it sort of seems like Christmas Eve isn't really a big thing. Like
true.
in Home Alone, like I guess they uh go to the church or whatever, but like on Christmas Day is the day where everything happens and everyone's back together and everyone's happy.
Yeah, I mean, like, what else would you do on like because it would make more sense if you celebrate on Christmas Eve, then rest on Christmas Day. Because a lot of people go back to work on the 26th.
Right.
So imagine just like celebrating all day and then going to bed late and then you have to wake up in the morning and like there's no rest time.
Yeah, but also work doesn't really give you days off on Christmas Eve, so you work on Christmas Eve and then you come back and it's already dark and everything.
I mean, at least, I mean, I don't know. My family were kind of lucky to be able to have Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off. Right now, if for those who don't know, I am a teacher, and so for the DOE, we're off on the 24th all the way to I want to say the 4th because New Year's New Year's and falls on Friday. And then usually then it's the weekend and then we go back on the 4th. So I have a good amount of time, about a week and a half to just relax and do whatever. My dad, he actually has to go back to work, I believe, on the 26th, and then he's off again because of the weekend. My mom, she doesn't work right now, so she can just do whatever. And my brother, he's in school. So and he's in college. So right once the holiday starts, I think after this week, he's completely free because he's on winter break.
Right. And how long has he been home? Did they send them back like for Thanksgiving and then he's just been home, or how did that work?
No, for the COVID, because of COVID, um he decided not to go back, especially since like the school was like, you guys don't have to go back, at least for now. Um, unless you're like an international student, then you could, but again, it's very limited on how many people they could have on campus. So he was just been staying here this whole time. They might decide whether they should go back in January if they need to go back or not. If he doesn't have to, he said he's going to stay here. But if he has to, or like they're now reopening schools and whatever, if the vaccine becomes completely successful, then he will go back.
Right, but I don't think the vaccine's gonna be that widespread until late February, maybe March.
Exactly. So like we actually think that he's not going to go back for the spring semester. He's actually just going to do everything remote here.
Right.
I mean, if in
But
my
still
case,
pay full tuition, right?
yeah, so he got lucky, okay, guys? He got really lucky. He actually attends Rice University, which is in Houston, Texas, one of like the biggest schools. It's funny because here in New York, nobody knows about Rice, but like in Texas, Rice is like one of those top notch universities, and he got full ride to that university, and I'm so jealous because I didn't. I had to pay out of pocket a lot of my tuition, especially since I dormed. So dorming in the city is not cheap at all, and he got full ride, like studies, dorm, everything paid. But he decided, you know what, he's not going to dorm anymore. He's going to actually rent an apartment with a couple of his classmates and friends, and the rent comes out cheaper, and the school just ends up giving him a check of how much money was actually left over without the dorming, because they don't take that money away from him if he doesn't dorm. So then,
That's odd. I've never heard of something like that. I thought if you decide not to dorm, then they disqualify you for that portion and they take the money back.
no, apparently Rice has like a lot of money that they can do that. When was it? And probably I think it was around um May or June, somewhere around that line, that Rice actually gave money to the students for the COVID situation, like extra money that Rice was able to give out to the students who have to be at home. Something like that. I don't remember what my brother said, but like he got extra money on top of the money that he already gets from the school for the full ride, and money that he's not using at the school.
So is that from like if they had to cancel like your work study or just to anyone?
I mean, I think it was like for those who qualified, I think it was like a relief thing that the school was doing. Again, don't quote on me on this, but like I think it was some type of relief that Rice was doing for their students. So I
They got
think
money like that.
Yeah, no, that Rice gets so much donations. I mean, like, they are a rich, rich school. Like, it's really big in, like, if you see pictures of Rice, like, it's huge.
But
It's
rice is tiny.
okay, we're not talking about the actual food here. But, like, no, Rice University is really, really big. They get so many like, so much donations. A lot of the schools go in for free, like, because if their grades qualify for it, they can actually get in for free. But then you also have to do all these applications for, like, financial aid and stuff.
Right.
So he was lucky, he was, like, one of the lucky ones that he was able to get for free, and they don't deduct if he doesn't dorm, so that's
Well,
really
lucky
cool.
him. I bet he has a lot of money saved up, right?
I mean, college is
Right?
stressful, and with that, you just buy a lot of food, and mostly
Apparently
takeout.
Uber,
Huh?
and apparently Uber.
Yeah, like Uber Eats and stuff like that, and that costs money, and, like, I think my brother like, honestly, my brother has been one of the biggest supporters because literally he won't go out if he doesn't have to, and he's been going like, don't get me wrong, he's been very careful, but, like, his girlfriend's in Atlanta and he goes visits her and like he pays for the tickets and he pays to be there. So it's like he went there twice already. So that's money from like the school that he gets if he like knows how to take care of this money wisely.
Uh-huh.
I mean, so like he's quarantined after coming back. He's been in here for 14 days every single time he's come back. Got tested, all negative, so thank the Lord Jesus Christ. But yeah, like, I've been trying to be careful because my dad is an essential worker and he's now 62 years old, and I really am very careful when I go out. I try to stay away from people. I try to sanitize. I try not to touch anything. Like, I keep my mask on.
So does he get hazard pay or is that not a thing?
My dad, I don't think so. He's under a union though, so I don't know. I don't
You'd
ask
think that would
questions.
be something that they wanna make sure
I
is good.
mean, he probably does hazard pay. I think he did mention it once, but think about it though. If you're not under a union, you're kind of screwed. Because even for like we had one check here in America, one check of 1,000 what was it? $1,200
Yeah.
to last you for now it's gone to how many months now? 6 or 7 months?
Uh,
We were
that
so
was in May?
think that was in May. So it was supposed to last you May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and we're now in December. That's 8 months and we haven't gotten another one. 1,200, Chris. You were witness to that. You know how many people needed more money? How many
That doesn't
people
even pay rent.
it doesn't pay rent. In New York, it's nothing. Like, honestly, it's nothing. Rent here is what? 1,500 the minimum, and if you actually been living at the place for years, your rent might probably go down to 1,100. But still, what are you gonna do with
Wait,
an extra
wait, wait,
100?
wait, wait, wait. What?
Yeah,
Since
depending
when
on
does rent decrease when you live
Oh,
there?
you didn't know that? Okay, so depending on the landlords, right? If you've been living there for 10 plus years or something like that, they can decide to decrease your rent because you are a loyal customer, basically.
Uh-huh.
So, and I don't think a lot of people know that, but again, it depends on the landlord. Like, I have a friend whose mom lived at that apartment for literally 15 years plus, and her rent is like 1,100. It used to be more. It used to be like 1,600 at the beginning or something like that, and then it just kept on decreasing for how long she's been there.
And that's 1,600 in old money too.
Yeah. So like, and then
Well,
there's
my
like,
rent's just been going up.
huh?
My rent's just been going up.
Oh gosh. Yeah, my rent also went up too. Here, for where I live, the more money you make, the more money you have to pay.
Makes sense, I guess.
I mean, but there are some, I don't know what's even like what's good. Like going off rent based on how much you make or just having a set rent, and that could go up every year if things are not going well. Because like prices and everything is going up, like extremely up, and that's every time the minimum wage goes up. Like $15 the hour in America here, and at least in New York, like $15 an hour does not help a low class family. Like that's insane. And a lot of people were fighting for the minimum wage to go up. But once the minimum wage went up, everything else went up. Groceries, gas, rent, all of this other stuff went up. And I don't even think that's fair. And it's so hard here in New York as well. Like if you are here, you kind of are blessed because New York is one of like the most expensive states
After California.
after California, but everybody over there is mostly bougie. You know, all the YouTubers are there, all the famous people are there, all of these people with money are there. Um, so like, I mean, I don't know. It's like what Beverly Hills is over there, right? I don't want to be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beverly Hills, Los Angeles, Sacramento is starting to get big too.
I think San Francisco is the most expensive
San
city in the country.
Francisco, yeah. I mean, again, like all of the famous people, like Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson, all Hollywood people are over there. Trisha Paytas is over there. Like all of these rich YouTubers, all of these rich TikTokers, all of these rich Instagrammers, all of these influencers, all of these Hollywood stars live over there. I mean, why wouldn't the rent and stuff be super expensive? But yet if you go to, like, the poorer areas of Los Angeles, like, that is wow. You can tell the difference apparently.
Yeah, I mean, everyone sticks to their own, and sometimes it's artificially built that way so that you have a classist society.
Yeah, I mean, here, you can tell, like, this like, for example, Harlem, you can easily tell, like, I don't know if you guys if you guys live in New York, you know in Harlem, each train line kinda defines a certain culture around that area. Like, for example, like Upper Bronx is completely different from the South Bronx. Like South Bronx is crazy.
Right.
Lower Manhattan is all the like the top rich people. Because you have literally Wall Street, you have Soho, you have even Chinatown. Chinatown's really big. Um, and then everything here is getting gentrified. So it's just crazy. And Manhattan is it's crazy expensive down here.
Well, apparently not everywhere in Manhattan. There's like cheap spots if you can find them, but I guess they're old buildings.
But that's usually like upper Manhattan. Like if you want to stay in lower Manhattan or Midtown, you're talking about expensive stuff. But if
Right.
you go up like I believe 116 or 110 and up, cuz like even 96th Street here in Manhattan is still expensive. But the closer you get to Harlem, and there's even a huge difference in Harlem, like 110, 116, like you have like an area of just rich apartments. You once you get to like and that's on one side of Harlem. Once you get to the other side, it's just like pure housing and pure low class, low economic families. And then in 125th of Harlem, you actually see that big difference. Like Harlem is just one of those areas that you can actually tell the difference.
Yeah. And so I've really never spent much time there except for like one or two construction projects that my dad did over there. But most of what I've seen of Harlem were just when I was passing through when my dad was driving us home or whatever. He liked to go through that area. Just like because he knows some people over there and he also, drove through the rich part of Harlem, so he just wanted to look he likes looking at houses.
Yeah, I used to work around there. So like I was like face to face with a lot of the stuff. I mean, that was a lot of crazy and a lot of wow. Like I'm not trying to be bad, like saying bad things about people. It's just like you can tell that like how America kind of works, you know? Like it's like we live in a system where like we are trying really hard to make a certain group be in this image, in this like low economic status in order to keep everyone else who is rich completely different. Uh but like I had this conversation once with a salesperson at Louis Vuitton, and she was like, well, at least in New York we're all kind of like mixed together, so like not many people are scared of other people, like we still walk around and not care.
Uh,
And I'm
I
like,
guess she doesn't walk around Manhattan.
I mean, I walk around Manhattan all the time and I'm never scared of people.
Well, I mean, there's certain areas that obviously you know to avoid, so
I
I
mean,
guess
I
that helps.
don't really avoid much places. I mean, I guess it depends on where you walk and where you go, because
I
I've heard
mean,
lots of
if
stories
I
of South
wanna
Bronx.
be political, then I can say that near police stations is where it can get pretty bad for some odd reason.
Mm, I mean, that's kind of that's debatable. I mean, I guess because in Times Square there is a police department there, and it's pretty calm most of the time. It's oh my gosh, but especially in Midtown and like Lower Manhattan, there's cops everywhere. There was this one time I posted on Instagram a picture of my bubble tea. And then I got someone who replied, is like, "Why is that police car looking mad shady in the background?" And I'm like, "They're everywhere, dude. They're literally everywhere. Like, there's a lot of police around there, like
Right.
in Lower
I mean,
Manhattan,
that's how they
Midtown."
can get a lot of money for tickets because cars get stuck in the middle of intersections and people park where they're not supposed to. So, like, because it's just so packed over there, cops can just make a lot of money.
True, but these cop cars are not even traffic cop cars. Like, you know
They're
what I
the
mean?
normal enforcement
They're
officer?
normal enforcement. That's why I think like I'm just walking around as if nothing's happening because literally there's a lot of enforcement. Like 34th Street, you have like cops in every corner, especially in
Uh-huh.
Times Square. Like the police like department thing is like right in the middle of Times Square, and there's like cop cars everywhere.
Right.
Same thing with Lincoln Center, Columbus Circle, especially right now, especially Columbus Circle. The cops are actually protecting the Columbus Christopher Columbus statue that's literally in the middle of Columbus Circle, which I do not agree with. But and then there's a lot of cop cars to like protecting the Trump Hotel, which is literally right next to the Christopher Columbus statue. So I don't know why we're using our taxpayer money to be protecting two things that are practically useless in that area. But you know what?
Right.
It's funny because one of my friends, she was actually looking for parking, and the only place that was the cheapest was in the Trump Hotel because no one wanted to park there. It was like what, $14 versus everywhere else where it was like $20, $24, $30 to park there.
Per hour?
I think it was like per if you got it over the internet, like you get like a bundle if you just drive
Uh-huh.
in. It's still like they charge you for the hour or depending on what you do, whatever. And my friend, she just like she's not a Trump supporter at all. Like she is far from it. And she was like, I'm gonna pay extra. I don't care as long as I don't have to park in that Trump hotel. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
me either. You do you. I don't want to be seen walking in and support anything that has to do with him.
Right, and other people might vandalize the car just for being there because they
Yeah.
think, "Oh, look, a Trump supporter's here. Let's get him."
I mean, New oh my gosh, New York is not a place where you can actually do that. Like there was this one time in Times Square there was like a group of 10 people just like basically they were all Trump supporters. And they were trying to do their little protest literally where the red stairs of Times Square is. Everybody just walked by them like, are they for real? Everybody literally looked at them with like this, you serious, right? Look on their face. and then
Yeah.
and walked past them, like, nobody blinked an eye. But that was the same day on Bryant Park, there was a Dominican parade. And I was like, "If you really wanted to make a statement here, Mr. like, Trumpers, you should have put your face where the Dominican parade was." But obviously you guys didn't, because you guys decided to go as far away from there as possible, because people would have gotten jumped if they got anywhere near that Dominican parade. It was so funny. I just like everyone's literally just looking at them like you're crazy for trying to do this. And we know
Yeah.
you're trying to avoid this certain area right now.
But didn't a lot of Dominicans support Trump and vote for him?
See, apparently a lot of
Or was that Cubans? I forget.
it's Cubans in Florida. Um I mean, I don't know. Apparently a lot of Hispanics and black people did vote for Trump, which I am very disappointed in that, especially since like a lot of people are trying to fight his policies because a lot of people of color have been suffering with all of these policies. I don't understand where in your mindset you can say yes he is a good person or even a good president. Like, you never make a businessman a president, especially if he has history of bankruptcy and failure.
Yeah, I think I saw one of his casinos in Atlantic City, and it was just a complete garbage.
Garbage.
Yeah,
um
like,
Jeez.
it wasn't even, like, a good fake gold on, like, the exterior facade, it was just a dull orange.
Oh, ew. I mean, there was I can so last year my coworker, my friend, she actually has two students. One was brown and the other one was black, and they both were Trump supporters. And we asked them why. And their response was because he's a businessman. You see him, he's successful. He made his own person, he made his own brand.
What are they talking
And I
about?
literally looked everywhere, and all of their friends, because they were all like a clique,
Uh-huh.
literally did the turning around, looking everywhere to see if they just heard what they just heard, right? And my coworker, she said, "What are you talking about?" And they were like, "Yeah, he's really rich. He has like all this money. He made his brand. Like, that's what I admire from him because he's a businessman." And we were like, he doesn't like you guys, right? Like, just the way you were born as a black and brown person. You
Uh-huh.
guys are already not even welcome near him. And they were like, "Well, I mean, no, that's not true." And we're like, "Have you not been listening to the news? Have you not been listening to his speeches? Have you not been listening to his campaigns? Have you not been even looking at any of his policies?" And then when they were like, "Well, it's because we've never had a businessman for a president. I think he can do really like good things for the economy. Like, he knows how to deal with money. He knows how to make business. He knows how to do this. He knows how to do that." I'm like, we literally are in like the biggest economical crisis right now. And now after that conversation and in this pandemic, obviously, like, we have not grown as a country. We've actually been broken even more. Like, as a country, we've always been broken. I'm not gonna lie about that. But we were torn apart after his presidency. Like, I don't know where in people's minds they think that he's been uniting people.
Yeah, it's just propaganda, racists, just hate everywhere. Like everyone's spewing hate and they think that they're right. And I just don't understand why people do that.
And the crazy thing is that like we asked them, what about Hillary? What was so wrong about her? And they were like, "Oh, it's because of her emails." And like,
Always with the
it's
emails.
always with the emails. And I don't know if you noticed, but the second he won the presidency, those emails like vanished. Like, the whole rant about the emails, no one went and investigated her after she lost. It's like it never happened.
Right, and what about Hunter Biden's laptop? What happened with that?
Yeah, I don't know what, apparently all of that just went poof. No one knows anything about those stuff. And we were like, "Wait, but you know that it kind of went away after, like, literally nothing happened after she lost. He didn't even go after her like he was saying that he was going to, because betraying the country is a big crime, but nothing happened. And we were like, what else don't you like about her? And then they were like, well, it's because of her husband. What does her husband have to do with her? Because Bill Clinton was also a president and he had this whole scandal and whatever. And a lot of people were saying that people didn't like Hillary's because, like, if she still stayed with her husband who cheated on her and did all of this stuff, why is she fit to be president?
I mean, have they looked at Trump?
I mean, I don't know.
What do they think is going on there?
I mean, Trump has all these allegations and all of, like, wives, how many divorces he went through, and all of this stuff. Like, what does her husband, like Bill Clinton, have to do with her decisions in the White House? And then the last thing, because her, like, my friend knows her students better than I do.
Uh-huh.
She was like, "Was it because she's a woman?" And they were like, "No, meh, no, 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 no." And then we were like, "Yeah, it's because she's a woman, right?" And they were like, "No, no." And then we were like, "So then why? Because you're not giving good reasons." I mean, because if you think about it, Hillary was the lesser of the two evils, way lesser of the two evils. And they were like, but she's not as evil as Trump. And I'm like, oh, are you serious, bro? It is because she is a woman. Like, why is it so bad to have a female in office? Like, if you think about it, all the female presidents in the world have successful countries. Why
Right,
is it so bad to have a female in office?
because they're not a white male.
That's exactly right. And the thing is that she would have been able to handle these 4 years with no problems, because they were also saying that her health was an issue. But then Trump's health wasn't an issue when he, like, apparently couldn't walk or
He
couldn't
couldn't
do.
hold the cup of water. He had to
Yeah.
use 2 hands.
Mhm.
He fell down a ramp or something.
Yeah. And it's like, nobody wanted Bernie cuz he was too old. That doesn't mean he's not capable.
Right.
Like, I don't understand people's reasonings. Like, you literally have a whole sheet of facts of why Hillary was a better choice, and then a whole list of facts of why Trump wasn't a good choice. And then people would be like, well, I don't want to look at the Trump list. I want to look at the Hillary list. I mean, it's the faith of the country. And a lot of people, from, like, a lot of white people did vote for Trump because for many reasons, and they weren't really good reasons. And that's pretty sad. And, like, when I heard that a lot of Hispanics and blacks, all, and, like, Asians who voted for him, I'm like, but how? How, where do you have the mindset that it's okay to do this?
Uh, they just want it's like a me first, me first. I want this. He's gonna give it to me, give me, and screw everyone else.
Well, like, do you realize that because of that, like, it's the selfishness? Like, I mean, at least for me, I voted for Hillary, but because I was thinking of people who are not as privileged as I am. People need help. We need to make the whole country better. But the people who voted for Trump is me, me, like you just said. Like, we
I just don't understand it.
people who voted for Hillary and people who voted for now Biden are thinking about a country as a whole, not just certain people, not just one area, but everybody. Because we look like a shit show here. We look like a joke. And I'm very glad that Pennsylvania, like, looked at the way things were handled, and, like, because they were the reasons why Trump won in 2016. So I'm glad that
Right.
they looked at themselves and they were like, "Listen, we can't do this again, boo boo. We can't do this again." And they went for Joe Biden, and that gave me such a relief.
Yeah, that Trump offended enough people that people didn't vote for him.
And it's also very funny because a lot of the people, like, again, like rural white people or poor white people, listen to him, and Trump was like, "Don't vote by mail, it's fraud." So then they all tried to vote in person, and that just made it more difficult for people who couldn't. So when they found, supposedly they found all of this mail that was just Biden mail, it's because Biden was encouraging, please social distance. If you need to vote by mail, vote by mail. If you can come in person, come in person. Like, don't let your voice not be heard.
Right, and, like, the whole I mean, I have a whole big issue with mail in general now because, I mean, the Trump administration basically skinned the entire USPS
Oh,
system,
yeah.
and they, like, got rid of new brand new mail sorting machines, just, like, trashed them and broke them and everything,
Which,
and
for what?
like, it's just sabotage to make it look like, "Oh, you can't trust the mail at all," but, like, I mean, obviously, the mail isn't working as well as it should, so there probably were, like, a whole bunch of ballots that didn't even make it through, which were gonna be mostly Biden anyway.
Yeah, and when he did sue and like for recounts, he lost like 3 times because they
I think he
found
lost
him.
every time.
He lost every single time that some states were like, "We're not gonna recount because obviously you lost." And then other states were, "Fine, I guess we will." And then once they did, bruh, you lost. No, 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 no. Count it again. Count it again. I bet more of my mail is like more of my votes are there. Are you serious? All right. Counting, 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 counting.
I thought he said stop the count
No. Okay, so here's the thing about Trumpers, right?
and
Half
then
half of
redo the count, and
like a lot
they
of people,
they didn't even know.
a lot of the Trump supporters who saw that he was winning by a little bit, they were like, "Stop the count." But the other side that was watching him, they were like, "Oh, he's losing. Keep counting." Like it was two separate messages. While the Biden supporters were like, "Just keep counting." Like everyone's voice matters. Just keep counting.
Right.
And like he knew he was going to lose Pennsylvania if they would have kept counting, and he did. He lost Arizona, he lost Pennsylvania, he lost
Georgia.
Georgia, he lost Nevada, he lost he didn't lose Florida, which I'm still mad at them because you guys made yourselves look like a fool again. Um And I have 2 friends who live in Texas, and I was like, "You guys voted, right?" And they were like, "Yeah, we voted for Biden." And I'm like, "Okay, hopefully Texas doesn't make a mistake again." And they made the same mistake again.
I
I'm
mean,
just so
it's
triggered.
Texas. They
It
only have, like, 4 major cities, and then everything else is just land.
Yeah, I mean, no offense to, like, people from Texas, but, like, like, no, like, again, no disrespect, but I was, like, joking with my friends from Texas, and I sent one of them the meme, the SpongeBob meme?
Right.
That he's the shape of Texas, and Patrick was like, "Stupid? No, I'm Texas." I'm sorry. I just got so mad when Texas voted for Trump, and I was
It's an
just like,
old meme, sir, but it checks out.
"It checks out." We might lose a lot of followers from this, I mean, I'm so sorry, like, New York is bad, but we at least didn't vote for Trump, okay? Like, New York's counts don't matter that much because 'cause we're just Democrat no matter what, you know?
Same with California.
Same with California. It's because even though we're both, like, major rich cities, at least we know we need more leftists. We need people that know what they're doing. We need things to go right. Okay, diversity. But I'm glad, like, I think Arizona, I think this was their what, their first time going Democrat in, like, how many years? And they were like
Not sure, but yeah, it's been a while.
yeah, and they were like,
And I
"No."
think it was because of the Native Americans. They basically all voted Biden.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the Native Americans have been suffering for years. Black people been suffering for years. Mexicans have been suffering for years. Hispanics years. Okay, when the COVID hit, Asians suffered a lot too. I mean, Asians were always suffering too, but like when COVID hit in America, he decided to call it the Chinese virus. Like that is so up.
I mean, it's the Trump virus.
It it really like just the virus that he brought and like all the racism and bigotry and ignorance just came out.
He did everything in his power to make it worse.
He yeah.
He
Yeah.
got rid of the Obama's like pandemic response like booklet and guide and all like this dedicated ideas for handling pandemics that everyone knew was going to happen sooner or later, and he just got rid of it. And then I I mean, like, every decision based on this is just was the wrong one, and he knew that the virus was coming and that it was gonna be a big thing, and he downplayed it, and basically, like, he was he was spreading the virus, like, tenfold, I think.
Yeah, and especially ignoring it. Like he knew it a lot earlier than we did. He knew this a lot earlier than we did. And it wasn't until like the governors and everything were like, the virus is here, we need to go. Like the United States is shutting down. Like here, I'm glad we have Cuomo. I know there's a lot of allegations coming out of nowhere with Cuomo right now. Um, I didn't look into it, so I'm not even going to talk about it. But I'm glad that Cuomo kind of was making things right here in New York. Like he prolonged the opening of schools as much as possible. He didn't want schools to open. He didn't think it was a good idea. He literally was basically in a war with Trump because Trump was talking so much crap about Cuomo, and Cuomo was like being very professional, but also saying you are wrong. Like New York is not your hometown anymore. You betrayed it. Like
I
you
mean,
know
especially when they stole PPE from New York and California.
Yeah, literally, like if you really want to claim New York as yours, you should have helped New York. But instead, you threatened to not give New York any relief help. No ventilators, no PPEs. And I get it. Cuomo didn't get the ventilators when he should have gotten them. What, like 5, 6, 7 years ago? I mean,
Yeah, because like we had like a storage of them, but they weren't really up to date or checked really. But
yeah,
like, I mean, that can be something that the federal government can check in on and make sure that rules are being followed.
exactly. Like Trump was really playing the if you kiss my butt, I give you money. And Cuomo was like, I'm not doing that. You can kiss your own butt, to be honest.
Yeah, I
Like,
think Trump sent a whole bunch of ventilators to Florida, but then Florida came out and like started to give some away because they had too many.
but like Florida is one of those states that did not take care of themselves. Like, I don't understand. They opened Disney World so quick. Beaches.
Gotta get that money.
Gotta get like okay. New York is also a tourism area. Florida is a touristic area, and California as well. Like all of these tourisms, like all of these states that make money from tourism, yeah, they need the money, sure. But if you don't take care of your money, then how are you supposed to survive a pandemic like this? Like, you understand? And New York, like, was again, they weren't receiving money from the administration, from the federal government, and they try to prolong it as much as possible, even though we needed it. But of course, like, probably things. I mean, I don't know back like behind the scenes or what happened, but I do believe that Cuomo just was like, we can't prolong this anymore. Like, we actually do need the money to help people. If not, we can't. We can't. We're gonna have to just open schools, like he said.
Right.
Like, we were one of the last states to even give in. Like, when was it in Georgia? They opened schools the second Trump was like, open those schools. And they were like, yes, sir. And literally, COVID hit them.
Yeah, teachers getting COVID cases left and right, and then they had to close the schools back up.
Yeah, like it what lasted like maybe 2 weeks. Like it didn't even last a second and they had to reclose. I don't know. Just talking about this is making my head hurt. I mean, but like it's important to talk. I mean, that's why I'm just so glad that this nightmare is gonna be over soon. When does Biden get in office? Like January 20th, right?
Uh, yeah, one of those days. I don't know the exact date, but Trump still has a whole month to mess everything up.
Oh my gosh. Right now, like he was trying so hard to not let the Biden administration like start taking over some stuff. Like
Yeah, but I think people are finally not listening to Trump anymore because he is gonna be leaving, so they're trying to save their hides and be like, "Yeah, we're cooperating with you. Please don't fire us and put us in jail."
right. And I really hope that when Biden takes office, he prosecutes Trump because Trump has done so many illegal things. Like it's not even funny. Like how do you have a whole book of just evidence against you and yet nothing's done to you? Like I don't understand that. I really don't. So like I really hope he gets prosecuted and by the law with all the rights of the law and he gets punished with everything he needs to get punished with because like
Yeah,
this
I
is
think New
crazy.
York is waiting for him to leave, and then they'll go after him.
You know what's funny? New York is like like those that mom that's like told you to cut home at like 11 o'clock on the dot and you get home at 11:05 and she's waiting there with the belt just tapping her foot at
Uh,
the door. Okay, you don't know Hispanic
no,
families.
I'm white.
Like she's ready to beat you. She's like opening her hand for the rent money, and then once she grabs it, she puts it in her pocket and then starts whipping you.
Oh, every time you're late, you have to pay rent?
No, like if you were maybe behind or something, I mean, I don't know. It just
Oh,
depends.
behind on your rent?
No, I've never been behind. I've never been behind on my rent. Thank God.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's funny. I mean, one thing that has been bothering me so much was like his comment about like why would you use the cages as like to separate families and basically torture these people? And Trump was like, well, but the Obama administration put these cages up. I'm just using them.
Uh,
But no one told you to use them that way.
that's like saying your parents bought a gun and you only used it. It's their fault for buying it.
Exactly. Like the Obama administration wasn't using it like that. Like, I mean, I'm not sure of like the actual numbers, but it was like maybe like if I'm just, just saying whatever, right? It's like he would keep immigrants there for maybe like 3 days and then deport them. While Trump is having them there for like 5 months, 6 months, ongoing, separating families, separating kids. Kids have been lost under ICE care,
Uh-huh.
and like it's Obama's fault now.
Everything's Obama's fault. He
Everything's.
wore a tan suit and he had Dijon mustard.
I just can't stand this guy. Oh my gosh. And especially talking to people who are Trump supporters, like you can't get through them. Like you would be wasting your time trying to get anything through their head. Again, I
I mean, I don't even bother. I have a coworker that sits next to me, and like, she says she's deaf in one ear, so she talks very loud, and it's just basically a constant barrage of Trump support, and Uh, oh, the media hates Trump. Why do they hate Trump? Why don't they post anything good about him?
Because he doesn't do anything good, like, even for
Exactly.
the relief checks.
Yeah,
What the
and
was that?
she denounced Fox News because they reported the facts on the election. So she went to whatever extreme rightist news group that they have now,
Oh, what was it called? I know this one.
Newsweek or something. No, not Newsweek. That's a
Um, uh, okay, I don't remember the name, but John Oliver did talk about it in one of his segments about, like, how Fox News kind of like went into like, you know what? We kind of supported Trump enough. Like, we can't hide the actual numbers here. Like, we've been bullshitting numbers before, but we can't really start. It's like, how can you literally look at facts and be like, yeah, that's still not true. I'm gonna look the other way.
because they just want to believe whatever they want to believe.
And I don't know how you do it. Like, guys, he works with a bunch, like literally almost every single one of them are Trump supporters. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, I don't even know if any of them are Democrats. Like I'm trying to think real hard.
Besides you?
Yeah. Like even there's like two younger people that are around my age. I think they're both Republican.
Oh no.
Um I mean there used to be someone that worked there that was Democrat, but she left, so now it's just me.
The only person who was saying, I'm kidding. But really, no. But in my job, I think we have one Trump supporter. One. And because most of us we're Democrats or at least leftists, um, he doesn't dare to open his mouth about Trump. Because think about it. I mean, honestly, if you're an educator, you shouldn't be admiring the views of Trump. Like, you can't.
Y- Like you shouldn't actively be against your own interest, but I mean apparently 70 million people are against their interests.
See,
So
this
I don't
is
know.
why I think we should also have an oath. Like, I know doctors have an oath, like, no matter what the situation is, you cannot deny help or you can't kill your own patients or anything like that. Like, you know how doctors have their own oath they have to swear to before they actually go into the field?
The Hippocratic Oath or
Yeah,
whatever.
something like that. I think teachers should have the same thing.
I mean, I think in order to be qualified to vote, you have to be able to pass the citizenship test.
Yeah. No, definitely. That's why cuz okay. So my mom wasn't a citizen until we basically forced her to be a citizen. She was a resident. And I was like, "Mom, you never know when a time will come where your residency might be in jeopardy. And the only way you can possibly stay in this country if you were just a citizen. Like, you will have the right to vote. Like, I don't know what will happen in the future, but you don't want to be given the excuse on, oh, you're just a resident. Yeah, we're not doing green cards anymore.
Wasn't there some law or program or something where they did do that?
I mean, I don't remember. I know I
I
was
thought
like
there was
in,
something similar.
I think I was in high school, and I told my mom that, and she was like, fine. And she did it, and she got her citizenship. I helped her out with like studying for the exam and everything, and we were so proud that she passed the exam. Um, but then, like, thinking about it now in 2016, like, I felt like that was going to come a reality. To be honest,
Right.
like, it just felt like that was the vibe. But I don't know if, I mean, I already have so much stress at work.
The melting pot, the land of immigrants. Let's deport every immigrant.
I
Okay, Trump. Bye.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, we are supposed to be the land of immigrants, and yet we don't like immigrants. How does that make any sense? How does that make any? Oh, we like immigrants if they come here legally, but
Well, apparently not.
apparently, even if they do come here legally, you're still an immigrant. And there's some America makes it so hard for people who can't come here legally easy. Okay, because a lot of asylum seekers were turned away,
Right.
or they were just deported back. Like, that makes no sense. Like when the Hondurans came from Honduras to the United States, Mexico was really willing to accept and give residency and citizenship to a lot of Hondurans. It just made me sad that a lot of them were like, "We don't want you. We want America." And it's like America's not even that great anymore.
And it's not like they're even taking your jobs. They're taking jobs that you don't want to take for wages that you would laugh at.
There was
And
this
it's just immigrants prop up the economy. That's what they do. They want to make everything good so that they can stay in the country and be happier here than they were in the place that they left.
mhm. And you know what's funny? There was a meme or like a video where it was like, "Immigrants steal your jobs." And it's like, how do they do that? They come up to you at work and they're like, "Give me your job. I have money. I don't want your money. I want your job. Give me your job." It's like, what? How do you physically steal a job? How does that make any sense?
It was like the a robbery situation
I
and
think so.
uh-huh.
It was so funny, but like that makes no sense to me. Like, how did somebody just come? Like, forget about the money, forget about your, luxury goods. It's your job. It's like, okay, all right, I'm sorry. Like, people, like immigrants do take these really horrible jobs that obviously citizens don't want. They're like, they complain about minimum wage when like literally immigrants are working for what, like not even $3 the hour.
Yeah, there's a lot of illegal uh payroll,
Yeah.
and it's the white man that hired them and is paying them that little. So why don't you blame the employers? Oh wait, the government just gives money out to corporations willy-nilly.
Mhm. Mhm. And the CEO of the Goya company completely turned his back on all the Hispanics that actually do buy their products because Trump gave him money. Oh,
Yeah,
Trump is a good
so
president. Like, what?
no more Goya products in these households.
No more Goya. Like, we're literally finishing up the last bottles of Goya products we have. We stopped buying Goya olive oil since like for the longest time. We only have what the adobo left.
Uh, well, adobo isn't oil
No, I
unless
know,
it
but
has oil, like their oil versions.
no, they have
Oh,
like olive oils, they have beans, they have all of this stuff. Like,
oh,
but like it's just disgusting. Like, you know how many Hispanics were so triggered when they heard that he is a Trump supporter? Like, ooh, no, 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 boo boo, we ain't doing that.
well, apparently not enough of them, at least in Florida.
Oh my god, Florida is still a triggering state for me. I mean, I love Disney World. I want to go to Universal Studios. I do have my parents, not me, but my parents has like a place over there, and I don't even feel like going anymore because it's like I'm gonna be supporting a state that you know, and like
Right.
my friend lives there and she is disgusted by the way like how the results came out. Like she voted for Biden and like it seemed like her vote like she was like she lives in like this really small town so her vote didn't even matter.
Yeah, but it's still important to vote just so we can maybe eventually abolish the stupid electoral college and just do popular vote or something similar to that.
See, I don't like the electoral voting. I hate it. It makes no sense. Like,
I mean, like small states get power in the Senate because every state gets two senators. So why do they also need power in the presidential election?
okay, I don't understand how these states are even qualified to weigh more than others. Like,
I mean, it's just like it's the three-fifths compromise. Like people in Alabama are apparently worth more than people in New York, and uh, and Republicans don't see anything wrong with that.
but if you think about it, the only reason why New York State is even still a Democratic state is because of New York City. It's because of I think Buffalo. Um, because put our foot down once a crazy person tries to run for office, and it's like, no. Because New York State as the state, red. Like, they wanted to go for Trump, but New York City, completely blue. And literally,
Yeah.
it's like the only reason why we're still a democratic state, and I have no idea why. Like, the city a lot of people who live in the suburbs are probably like, "Oh, it's 'cause city, eh." But it's like the city's very diverse, and we understand what goes on, like,
We just wanna help other people.
yeah,
What's wrong with helping other people that weren't afforded the same opportunities as you?
yeah,
Like,
it's like we're
why are they
lucky.
so against that, that they will destroy the economy just so that they can say, "Oh, at least they didn't get anything socialist or stupid food stamps."
See, like, even with, like, welfare and food stamps, like, a lot of people do need it. I do get upset when a lot of people abuse it as well. Like, people who don't need it and they still want it. Like, come on. Like,
I
really?
mean, I thought, like, food stamps restrict, like, what kind of products you can buy
Yeah, it is
with
very
those.
restricted, but, like, you
I
can
guess there's
still
the whole
get
issue
good
with
stuff.
certain brands are preferred over others.
See, like, usually when you're, like, pregnant, you could, apply to get, food stamps for, like, baby products, and it's, like, these branded name baby products. So it's like, you still get good quality stuff with the food stamps. It's not even, like, off-brand stuff either.
Right.
So, like, you still get, like you could, like I think Kellogg's is, like, part of it. You can still get milk, you can still get all the things you need with these food stamps, like, these nice brand name stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, why not? We we can afford to provide these things. We're more productive and produce more things than we've ever done in history. Like,
Yeah.
everything's more efficient. We can automate more things. Like, why can't we help people that need it?
I mean, that's what the taxes are for, is to, like, literally help. Like, that's what the unemployment is, like, we pay all these taxes just in case things go wrong, and we can support ourselves by the taxes we pay. We're
Right.
supposed to be able to increase enforcement in, like, using our taxpayer money in order to keep everyone safe. But once New York, like, the NYPD went for it, we endorsed Trump, I said, "Excuse you, bye-bye." Like, that's not New York. The only reason why they did that is because 1, we have a lot of racist cops in the system. 2,
Yeah.
the qualifications to become a cop is so low. How is it that a hairdresser needs more training than a fucking cop?
Uh, because they want it to be that way.
And I don't understand why. That's so insane to me. That is really insane. Like, like, you are literally with a firearm. You have authority. You have power, and you can't even get trained enough to be able to use this power correctly? What is wrong with you? Like, NYPD, like, can you not, like, mm-mm, mm-mm, don't even come at me with, "We're sorry," all of this. Like, literally the time that New York needed you was the time you turned your back on New York.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, and I'm not trying to make anybody upset, but, like, for example, we live in a time, literally during Trump's presidency, where school shootings were a huge thing. In When I, like, studied to be a teacher, like, we knew what we were gonna get ourselves into. Like, God forbid it ever happens, but we chose to risk our lives to protect our students if it ever does happen. So, if you
Right.
decide to become a cop, you don't get to complain. You knew what you were gonna get yourself into, you chose to be in that field.
Yeah, and it's not even the most dangerous job out there, so I don't know why they're trying to say, "Oh, you don't know what it's like," or "You have to defend yourself against these criminals." Like,
But, like, you
you
already
you can't you can't judge them. You're not a judge. You are just there to de-escalate, but apparently it's always the opposite.
yeah, exactly. Like, you're there to keep the peace and get the story right. You're not there to make shit worse. Like, we teachers have I mean, I'm not trying to give myself or anybody a more than the other, but like a lot of teachers, like the education system is already a hard job. Like it's super difficult. And but we don't have firearms to defend ourselves against potential school shootings, potential dangers that is supposed to be in a safe environment. But you have guns, you have cars, you have all of these accessible things that you're scared of a person.
They're scared of children.
You're scared of. Okay, there was a video made by RDC World. I don't know if any of you guys watched them, but they actually made like this funny skit that turned into a very serious message. Like at the end, it was like a black guy in this car. He was trying to reach for his ID because the police, the cop was like, "Get your ID, but keep your hands up."
Was that the one where he was passed out in his car and they just were banging on his window?
No, 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 no. So RDC Rose is a different one. Um, it's like it was just like a skit. Like if it wasn't a black man, it's like okay, you can go. Like you're right, we're wrong. But if it is a black man, it's like they automatically put a gun to your face. Like keep your hands up, but give me your identification. Well,
Uh-huh.
sir, I can't if I have to reach to get my identification. No, 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 no. Keep your hands up, but give me your identification. I have to put my hand down to go and reach for the gloves like the glove compartment. It was like, you do that, I will shoot you. But how does that make any sense? This person can do nothing to you if they're trying to just reach for their identification. But you're scared and you're the one with with the gun
And body armor.
and body armor. You're with like you're more protected than this guy. Okay, there are some situations where yeah, there's probably a person who does have a gun or does have who is like probably drug dealers or like rapists or like serial killers, right? Who are armed, and you will have times where you might be in danger, but like again, you signed up to keep the peace. And if the time comes, you have protocols on what to do to stop the danger. Now, if you're stopping a person for their license and registration, and you need to have your gun to their face, like how does that make any sense?
It doesn't.
No. And it's really sad that we're now living like we've been living in this world like this and we're continuing living in this world. Like school shootings went up so high under Trump's presidency. We can't lie about that. We make it seem like it's an everyday thing. While in other countries, the second they have a school shooting, the gun laws change. Why is it
Right?
that here in America we have so much accessibility to these guns when not nobody needs them, really?
Because it's the Second Amendment, which was in the 1700s. They needed guns. And all of a sudden, 2020, still need guns. But why, though?
But why? Like, have you seen all of these political cartoons and memes? It's like we're scared of people, but yet you're the one with all of these like weapons. We're scared of immigrants, but you guys have like 50 guns at home.
Right.
Like, I don't understand. Like for those who like don't put on a mask when you go outside and like complain and do tantrums at like a freaking Walmart because they told you to put on a mask, like, are you 5? Like, what is the big deal of wearing a mask? Right now, I'm actually very glad I have to wear a mask because like it's freaking cold outside and my nose gets frozen and the mask actually keeps it warm. Like,
Uh-huh. You don't
why
have to
is
wear
it
a
a big
scarf.
deal? I don't understand. Like, have you seen those videos of people like just throwing tantrums at like these department stores, these grocery stores, just because they were told to put on a mask?
I don't even bother with that. It's just noise. I don't need that.
But it's like, but why? And then they give the excuse like, I my doctor said no, but there's no proof to say that a max can actually like stop your breathing. If that is a problem, then there's other different types of masks that you can get.
Right, and you can also, not go in person. You can
Yeah,
online
it's
shop
called
online.
it's called Postmates, online shopping. It's called Uber Eats. It's called all of these different things that you can do. Like, I don't know what's the problem, but like, I don't know.
We just need to heal and care for one another again, and hopefully all these Republicans can learn to see that, and we can just finally heal, get vaccinated, and go back to normal.
I will say this: if there's ever a time where like a Republican like makes good points and is willing to grow and help America grow, then obviously like obviously vote for a Republican. We're not saying all Republicans are bad. It's just that during this time, it's like they kind of earned that title, especially under the Trump administration. Like, you guys kind of earned it. They can't really help you with that. Hopefully, like,
Yeah, and
we'll learn
none
from
of
our
them were
mistakes.
sticking up for what was right.
Yeah, so if people learn from their mistakes and learn that what was happening was really bad and horrible, then obviously more people will be able to trust Republicans and trust the fact that not all these people are bad. We just have to keep educating everyone. But I know, guys, I know we said last week that we were going to do like the anime artwork and stuff, but like
Oh,
2020 is about to end.
politics instead, apparently.
I mean, like, but 2020 is about to end, and there's just real things going on in this world, and that we're just hoping that things get better in 2021. So, and sorry for this rant. If you disagree, if you agree, please leave it in the comments below. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this on like, I mean, listening to this on any other platform, then just let us know in the reviews about the episode. I mean, we're all open ears to hear all of your opinions, and thank you guys so much for supporting us. Again, we apologize for the ranting and all of this stuff. But again, 2020 is ending. We kind of wanted to just like vent a little bit about the things that have been stressing us out, and it has been not made any sense at all throughout 2020. So,
Yeah, venting is a good way to just release the tension and try to clear your head and get ready for the new year. So we hope everyone is ready for the new year and excited to just get a better year than last year.
and if you are venting with us while listening to us, then awesome. Vent with us. And if you disagree with everything what we say, at least you're venting in some way or another and disagreeing and like relieving a little bit of the stress. Okay, we're here. We're gonna be here. We'll see you guys next year with hopefully the podcast that we were supposed to do this week. And I hope
Yeah.
everyone enjoys their holidays, eat some good food, rest, find some stress relief. Happy 2020. The next time we see you guys.
It'll be 2021.
2021. Oh my gosh. I'm not trying to restart this year. What am I doing?
I mean, maybe we should. Maybe
No,
it'll
we
turn out
need to
better.
move on. We need to
You
move on.
never know.
We need to move on.
Multiverse theory.
We need to move on.
Alrighty. We
All right,
are
guys.
good to
Thank
go.
you guys so much. And we'll see you guys in 2021 with a new episode. We'll miss you. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.